Hello, everyone. WWDC is almost over, but we just got our most important update for Apple administrators. So I just wanted to do a quick recap on what we've learned so far. This is going to be kind of an intro to my presentation that I'm having in a month, where I have a bit more time to dive into the material, fool around with the betas, and see what it actually means. But right now, I just want to give you my initial thoughts. So let's dive into it. First thing is there's some upgrades to Apple School / Business Manager. Automated device enrollment for Apple Vision Pro is going to be available, as well as activation lock control, which is actually seems like a pretty cool feature. Basically, if a device is in activation lock, even with a personal Apple ID, you can unlock it even without that activation lock bypass code. Pretty cool. But of course, if you're setting things up properly with an MDM, shouldn't be a problem. But now you don't have to worry about someone putting something into activation lock because it's going to be easy to unlock it from a remote portal. Biggest thing with software updates that I've seen is they set a new software update configuration that replaces the legacy management. And I never know what this is going to look like. Software updates have been awful for the last 4 years. They keep saying it's going to be better, and we keep resorting to older methods and creating new tools like Superman or erase install or nudge or something like that. Hopefully this new DDM version is going to fix a lot of the problems that we had, mainly just the updates not really deploying how we want them to. But we'll see once we're able to fool around with some of the betas and stuff like that. Safari extensions, now you can deploy them, which is kind of cool. You can allow to set extensions, you can deploy them, you can also disable them. Not much to say about that. And then we get into Mac management, and this is some of the stuff that we're going to talk about a bit more. So the thing that I found kind of interesting was the services configuration. And I'm going to have to dive into this more because honestly, I'm not fully understanding what this is. And I know this was available last year. So last year they added support for the services configuration files, such as sudo, pam, and SSH. And this year they're adding support for executable files. That sounds kind of exciting, but I'm not exactly sure what this is. Maybe it's something that's just not supported by Jamf, which is why I'm not seeing it. But it could be really useful for scripting and stuff like that. Especially because this year they're also adding launchd configuration files. And I'm trying to imagine how that would look. Obviously, we can deploy a launch daemon through a script, but being able to deploy it through a configuration profile, maybe turning it on and off and stuff like that could be really cool. But I just don't understand how this will look. So that's something we'll be able to fool around with in the beta. Disk management configuration is back. So now you can allow, disable, and make external and network storage read-only, which is really good for organizations that are really looking to lock down their data. I'm kind of surprised it's taken this long to get this feature back because they deprecated a while ago, and now it's working again. So great to see. Platform single sign-on. This is another one where I'm like, they didn't spend much time talking about it. They don't show images or anything like this, but they did mention that you could unlock File Vault using an identity provider, which kind of opens the world because that's always been the problem with all this stuff. Jamf Connect, platform single sign-on, anything that has to do with these sign-in screens, syncing your password is File Vault just seems to be that issue that makes passwordless single sign-on or sign-in through multi-factor and identity provider just not possible. So the fact that now they're saying it is very exciting. I want to see how that works because they didn't give any demos. But yeah, both identity provider authentication and login policies, can work via File Vault, allegedly. So those are kind of the main highlights I just wanted to talk about very quickly. A couple things I didn't cover though. You can also manage beta updates. You can convert personal Apple IDs to managed Apple IDs. There's new configuration MDM commands and restrictions for the Apple Vision Pro. locking and hiding iOS apps. That's the new feature they just added. So you'll be able to control that with MDM. Stolen device protection, and then some cool stuff with schoolwork if that's something you're using at your school. So quick recap of what I found interesting for WWDC. Join us for our presentation next month where we really do a deep dive in this stuff and see what all of this looks like.